Sword swallower impales himself. Hannibal nailed. Circus of Horrors Hannibal Hellmurto is an old-hand sword swallower who ripped his esophagus downing a neon tube. What, there were no swords around? Guy's got guts. Either that or he's nuts. Do people in their formative years wander aimlessly, wondering what career might suit, and finding no solace in construction, forensics, or zoology, throw their hands in the air and declare, "Shoot! That's it! I'm going into sword swallowing"? Can you major in it at university? What happens if you flunk out? Do you drop down to butter knife binging? There are a myriad of bird courses in the halls of higher education these days. Tire rotation, Occupy Wall Street studies, basket weaving. But sword swallowing, neon tube noshing is not exactly a breeze through while still asleep at the wheel kind of class, is it? Is sword swallowing a sport? A person crazy enough to shove sharp steel objects down their throat would want cash or claps, right? So hobbies out. No one would do it to kill time. So recreational activity wouldn't work. Better settle for performance art. Anyway, in this idiocy, technically Hannibal graduated and gravitated to easing down an electric-powered glass tube filled with mercury. Why would anyone want to whole, in whole or in part, glass, electricity, or mercury? To add insult to injury, while the 4-inch rip in his esophagus healed, he had to stew, knowing he couldn't chew. It was intravenous or bust. He had his lungs drained. Should have had his head read. As luck, the fates, and the breaks would have it, the sore throat healed. He's again booking dates, arranging shows, swallowing everything in and out of sight. Is this your tradition to be passed down to the kids? Now see here, progeny, I don't want you to grow up a failure like me. I want you to swallow, in one fell swoop, without hesitation, all the country flags of those nations in the United Nations Security Council. Council, there's the word, and there's the thought. Ought he have fared better if he listened to some? Oops, nix that. He used to be a tax accountant. Quite a jump from snooping in a citizen's financial innards to drooping a sabre near to one's own gizzard. Britain has a reputation for fair play. What did the National Health Service have to say about the zaniness? Did they, i.e. the British taxpayer, have to pay? Isn't this an occupational hazard, do or beware kind of thing? Of course, British cooking is rotgut, run-of-the-mill fare. Maybe sword impaling pales in comparison. Hannibal Hellmurto, is a sight to behold. Make that withhold. He's got more tattoos than the Henley Royal Regatta has crews. His hair is spiked and colored to distaste. By the grace of himself, Helmut Kitschmeyer, for that used to be his name, doesn't need to engulf odds and ends down his pie hole to get into trouble. He can peril himself standing still. One time, by accident or on purpose, he hypnotized himself, and his wife found him transfixed in front of his mirror. He was in it so deep, she had to call his mentor, teacher, hypnotherapist, Dr. Ray Roberts, to snap him out of it. Somnambulistic trances will do that to you. He had been doing the dance of the trance in preparation to swallow many swords simultaneously. Amazingly, sword swallowing has a rich 4,000-year history. Hannibal is not the only crazy cannibal. In fact, 100 or so fellow daredevils, for this feat is not an illusion, are members of the good old SSAI, the Sword Swallowers Association International. Time for an oxymoron. The site encourages safe sword swallowing. Why would anyone want to do it unsafely? The SSAI news section advertised World Sword Swallowers Day 2010. It's now 2012. What happened to a possible 2011 day? Could it be, and this is according to Ripley's, 2010 could not be beat? 22 sword swallowers downed almost 138 feet worth of swords, but no encore, so far. The Sword Swallowing Association International puts its money where its mouth is. Sponsors know and presumably like their products going down the hatch, without a catch. What manufacturer could complain knowing their wares were swallowed hook, line, and sinker? Gulp! Swallowed too soon. There was the annual 4th Sword Swallowers Day, 26 February 2011. Besides featuring feats hard to believe, the big message was to raise awareness of the contributions sword swallowers have made in the fields of medicine and science. No argument there, especially for emergency surgery and the study of idiosyncrasies, oddities, jollies, and follies. His wife Joanna may think Hannibal is out of his mind, but he's right at home with the Circus of Horrors. It's their venue. Let's quote directly, the menu. Featuring hair-hanging beauties, twisted contortionists, flying aerialists, demon dwarfs, gyrating jugglers, voodoo warriors, pickled people, sword swallowers, and its latest and greatest newfound star, the ventriloquist. Hannibal is versatile. In his bag of tricks is a rope, 6 millimeters by 50 centimeters that, if you ask him nicely, will go into his nose and out his mouth. Guinness Book of Records like this, what they call in the sideshow vernacular dental flossing, a lot. Don't try this at home with a piece of plastic or a chain. Leave that to show pros like Hellmurto. That's what he's here for. Everybody needs a job, a goal, a life, and the means to get it. Clearly Hannibal has found his calling. The proof is in the pudding, metaphorically and literally, by what he swallows. He may be a bit hollow in the head. Just be thankful he doesn't have a hollow leg. Lord knows what he plunked on there to fill it up. Enough. Gotta go. Gotta throw up.